I wanted to see how many sit-ups I can do in a minute with a 47-pound dumbbell on my chest. I did 48, and that was really cool, except something didn't feel quite right, and then I got bronchitis shortly thereafter, had a little coughing fit, and hence a bulge, and here we are.
I'm a construction worker by trade, and that's how my surgeries came about, is just by doing construction work and wearing out over time.
I tore my ACL and the meniscus in the same knee.
I started feeling pain in my stomach, figured out it was probably appendicitis from a few different things.
I was having hernia problems.
I had to have a hysterectomy.
And our son is an athlete, and he was in track season.
Yeah, so we went to the emergency room, and they were telling us that there was no reason to do surgery, but they were not giving us any background or understanding of like, okay, why no surgery?
I checked on the options, and when you add in the deductible and the 20% that you have to pay, it was an extreme savings to do a cash pay than it was to even go through the insurance, which is a really odd thing to say, but that seems to be proving true more and more these days.
Their ability to say, here's our plan of attack, these are the benchmarks by which we would make this decision. That was the thing that was missing. When we came to Dr. Abraham, he literally spent time explaining to us the ins and outs and the interactions with the parts of the body associated with this current problem and helped us understand.
Yeah.
Here's what we're looking for, and here's what we're going to do when we see certain things.
Dr. Abraham and I were talking, and he said, it's a potential that antibiotics could do something. And so he started there first, and that ended up resolving our son's issue. And I think within 2 days, he was well enough to go back to participating in track, which if that didn't work, it was surgery.
I had rotator cuff surgery, and it's my second one. My first one, I did not have it with Veritas. It was just your standard healthcare plan.
Yeah, they denied the first surgery, so we ended up having to...
Our insurance company.
Yeah. We would have had to pay $60,000 out of pocket, and we got that down to $30,000, and we ended up having to refinance and sell off part of our property just to pay that. So by the second shoulder cuff surgery, we were set to pay with our sharing ministry, and so that was a way different story. We were only going to pay about $2,500 deductible. And then our ministry called us and said, what about Veritas? We have this new situation, and we'll waive your deductible if you'll give them a shot. And so not only did it save us, but we prayed about it and wanted to save the ministry money, because that's everyone else's money paying for our surgeries,
There's a business model here that I hope will someday become mainstream. I feel like insurance companies have been bogging down the medical industry for a long time. I think this is something that's overdue. You can basically remove the middleman, a very expensive middleman in the medical profession, and deal directly with your doctor and allow him to use his wisdom, his expertise, rather than be limited by what an insurance company is willing to pay for, and also deal with all the bureaucracy that just makes the expense of medical procedures so much higher than they need to be.
It's like you're a number, and nobody cares who you are. They're just stamping your ticket as you go through the line to get in your surgery center, But we just felt like these people cared. There was a caring there that just was not at other places. And not only that, but there was a kindness there that right off the bat, we could see the difference between the mentality behind the organization that we were dealing with,
Yeah, I never had to worry about any of it. If I did, I called and they put my mind at ease. They were so good about answering our questions. And yeah, like he said, they were steps ahead of us.
Like, what are we looking at?
Yep.
We were told answers.
Yeah.
There was no
costs.
questions. It was just very reasonable, and it was no different than any other service that you would try to pursue and receive.
Yeah. I think it's great that he gives this very clear expectation of this is what we're estimating. If everything goes according to plan, possibly you might incur some more here because of this and this, but it's not going to be, oh, 5K more, 10K more.
First time I went out and got my own information and picked a surgeon whom I thought would have been the best for me. He was highly accredited, had the name, had the office space, and looked like they had it all together. But after now going through our situation with Veritas, I wish I could show you and have you put a microphone to this shoulder. It goes pop, 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 pop all the way around to where this one, it just works smooth. It's like my right arm is back, to where I'll still have a little bit of pain here and there in this one. I don't know why, but this one cost me a lot more than what this one did. And just trying to be simple with it, this one works, this one still has issues.
Yeah, we thought that we'd get the new guy, because it's so much cheaper. We thought, well, we're going to get the low man on the totem pole, but that's not the case. Both of our surgeons were amazing and very seasoned and knew what they were doing.
Very professional acting.
Yeah, I wasn't nervous after I got to meet them.
The program that they got set up there, it works for people. It doesn't end your life. It gives you maybe a pause and a time to get healthy, but you're going to get back on your feet and you're going to move forward again. And that's where we were. But we didn't know it at the time, Fortunately, found Veritas through our healthcare ministry, and it's been a great opportunity and a great experience.